Oh, yeah. Is it Saturday already? Yes, I know it's 6 o'clock, okay? We're late today. We're late. I was busy, chat. But it's Saturday, and it's the end of a Star Wars week. A Star Wars week that started with Star Wars Celebration, the biggest weekend of the entire year, and had the first 3 episodes of Andor Season 2. Now, our goal is to figure out what the hell's going on in the next week of Andor Season 2, 3 episodes on Tuesday, but a wild twist is coming and has been revealed by the actors and the directors/writers from this series. Tony Gilroy has spoken out about Darth Vader and Palpatine being in or not in Andor Season 2, and Revenge of the Sith has re-released into theaters this weekend, and oh, it's breaking records. Still, after 20 years, Revenge of the Sith continues to break records because it is, in fact, the greatest movie of all time! Okay, without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Saturday evening, I guess. It's not afternoon anymore. It's an evening. Saturday evening. What's up, chat? Okay, so we got a fun one today. We're, of course, still speculating about what's happening in the rest of Andor Season 2. We're talking about the first 3 episodes of Andor Season 2. Tony Gilroy is talking so much about what's happening with Andor, Palpatine, Vader, all that crazy stuff. Saw Gerrera was not in the first 3 episodes. We expect him to have this huge, big arc with a twist coming in this next arc. But Revenge of the Sith came out this weekend, re-released after 20 years, and I gotta ask, first of all, did you go see it? And second of all, did you pick this up? Bum-ba. Check this thing out. It even breathes like Vader. You ready? You hear it, chat? Can you hear it now, chat? Can you hear it, chat? Pretty cool. It's a popcorn bucket. Never going to be filled with popcorn, but it's a popcorn bucket. See his head opens up like that. And yes, I did get the cup as well, and we do have a new good cup to follow his orders, which will be revealed later on in this stream. But Vader will find some sort of home behind us at some point, I'm sure. But for now, he goes off to the side. Stay over there. Okay. But tell me in the chat, did you go and see Revenge of the Sith in the movie theaters this weekend? Are you contributing to the record-breaking re-release of Revenge of the Sith? Tell me in the chat. It was my first time seeing Revenge of the Sith on the big screen because it did release in 2005 and I was born in 2002, and I wasn't watching Revenge of the Sith as a 3-year-old. I wasn't watching Anakin Skywalker burn to death as a 3-year-old, sadly. God, that would have been nice. But I never got to see the movie in the theaters until yesterday. And I must say, obviously I can watch Revenge of the Sith over and over and over again on Disney Plus like I do. But watching it on the big screen is something completely different, and it was spectacular. So if you haven't seen it yet, and you have no plans to see it yet, go watch it. It's awesome. But before we get into this stuff, let's say hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? Brandon Baker, what is up? Another Mike who loves Star Wars, how we doing? 730 Evie, what is up? Holly in the house. Ian, what is up? Mr. Slash X, how we doing? John Groom in the house. Tafari Tano, what is up? Matthew, how we doing? WUV Grad, what is up? Nathan, how we doing? Haja, what is up? Aaron, what is up? Jessica, how we doing? Mando United in the house. Starship 66, what is up? If I missed you, you guys know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay. I did have a super chat before the stream started. Let me see. Where did that go? Hang on. Super chats, memberships keep the lights on over here, but we did have a super chat from Darth Plagueis Lives with the very generous $2 holla. Says, I think Tony is lying. Okay, we'll get to what Tony Gilroy has to say in a little bit here. But yes, and WV Grab with a 4-month membership badge. I appreciate that quite a bit. Okay. Let's dive into the Revenge of the Sith stuff first. We'll get that out of the way, and then we can talk Andor Season 2. Because last stream really got away from us. It was the quickest 2 hours of my entire life. Like it felt like I pressed go live and then it was over before we could even talk about the episodes and do anything. So let's talk about Revenge of the Sith so we can get to Andor Season 2. Okay? Okay.
This is where the fun begins.
I think I agree with you, Slim, but we'll get to that again. Oh, there you go. Darth Plagueis Lives. $2 holla. I think Tony's lying. I agree, but we'll get to it. Revenge of the Sith is on track to be one of, oh, we got another super chat. Hang on. Hang on 1 second. Don't start the article yet. Don't start it yet. WUV grad with a very generous, oh, it was the membership. Never mind. Okay, go back. Wilhelm keeps interrupting me. Hang on. Revenge of the Sith is on track to be one of the biggest re-releases of all time after record-breaking box office opening. So after 20 years, this movie is still showing how great it is. Well, Ryan Coogler's Sinners drew most of the attention this weekend for its stupendous box office performance. Spare a thought for... Oh my God. Hang on, Chad. Spare a thought for Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, which is breaking its own record 2 decades after its initial release. The third installment of the Star Wars prequel trilogy generated $11.3 million in its first day back in theaters. In celebration of its 20th anniversary, the movie is expected to gross between $25 million and $30 million this weekend. Now, this is what it's estimated to do. $25 million to $30 million. I think, chat, we can beat this. I think as a Star Wars community, we can shatter this number and get this way closer to $100 million. I've been seeing all the movie theaters around me. They're pretty damn packed when it comes to getting seats. I had to sit in like the third row because I got my tickets on like Monday. I was like, I'm going to see a movie on Friday and I'm in the third row. What the hell's going on here? So I think this number might be a low ball, actually, seeing that it did get 11.3 million on its first day. And we could be seeing Revenge of the Sith be hopefully closer to 100 million. Now, here's the deal. This is the biggest re-release into theaters ever, at least domestically in the United States. It's in almost 3,000 theaters. Because I was talking about this with my friends yesterday. We've gone to see, last year was The Phantom Menace. The year before that was Return of the Jedi. They keep doing these re-releases for Star Wars. However, we would have to go like 40 minutes to the nearest theater that showed the re-releases because it's only in select theaters. This movie, however, is in like 5 theaters that are right near me. So they've released Revenge of the Sith into a lot more theaters than they have been doing for the previous re-releases of the Star Wars movies. So that alone is going to get more people to go see it and get more attention and money into the box office. However, I think this 25 to 30 million is a low ball, and I certainly hope that us as Star Wars fans can come together and watch what I think is the greatest movie of all time on the biggest screen possible. Indeed. Mike, where's the merch? Oh, we're working on it, Holly. Don't you worry about it. That was a sneak peek for you. That was a sneak peek for the members only in the Discord. Yeah. Yeah. So let's keep going though. Oh, what the hell? What? Did I just exit out of that by accident, chat? What the hell? What was that? Did I just somehow, how did I do that, chat? All my tabs are gone. Chat, what happened? I think I just accidentally bumped into my mouse and deleted all of my tabs. Hang on. That's not annoying. That's not extremely annoying, chat. Oh, wait. Aha. Restore window. Okay, cool. We're back. Never mind. I don't know what the hell that was, but okay. We are back. Let's
I got a bad feeling about this.
Let's try this again. Okay. So $25 to $30 million this weekend, which would put it ahead of Ben Affleck's The Accountant 2, which, by the way, is releasing this weekend. It could beat movies that are being released right now, a 20-year-old movie. A remarkable result that proves the current culture's current culture's potency, chat English, of the theater's experience, if Sinners hasn't already. So here's the deal. What's going on here is the re-release is performing better than the movies that are actually in the theaters right now. And the problem, or I guess not really a problem for us Star Wars fans, but the problem for other movies is, well, oh my God. I'll get to that in 1 second, Roger. The problem with that is movies now are already not being greenlit because of the lack of money they're making in the box office, because of how much it costs to make a movie and how little people are going to see the movies anymore. So re-releases have a, I guess, proven history. Like Revenge of the Sith has a proven history, has a group of Star Wars fans that weren't old enough, like myself, to see the movie when it first released into the theaters. So now all those fans of the prequel trilogy are going back to watch it. Some fans are just going back to watch it because they want to see it in the movies again. But some fans like me have never seen it, never got to experience Star Wars the way that it's supposed to be experienced on the biggest screen possible. And that's why it's making all this money. That's why it's breaking all of these records. Okay. Roger with a very generous $10 holla. Roger says, in Revenge of the Sith, did Vader kill Padme by unconsciously having her midichlorians shut down while doing the opposite of what Plagueis was said to have done? Did Vader kill Palpatine? I mean, did Vader kill Padme? I'm going to say no. I don't think Vader... It is a very interesting thing, because when you're watching the scene, as Vader is being put into the suit, or Anakin's being put into the suit, Padme is dying. So I guess you could say something about that, I guess, in terms of, yes, it's going to... You could say that one correlates to the other. But I don't know. Padme loses the will to live because of what happens with Anakin. You're breaking my heart. She dies of a broken heart. All that. She dies of sadness. But that's quite the theory. That is quite the theory. Okay. Taylor, don't worry about it. Happy you're here. Okay, let's get back to this. So, anything above $30.2 million will put Revenge of the Sith atop the list of modern era's biggest re-release debuts, ahead of The Lion King. For context, The Lion King ended up grossing $185 million globally when it re-released in 2011. Wow. Already, Revenge of the Sith has outgrossed the entire $10 million re-release haul of Avatar. Wow. Delivering its first weekend back in 2022. So when they re-released Avatar so that it would pass Avengers Endgame, that was when it made only $10 million. Now Star Wars Revenge of the Sith has already made $11 million in its first day. On its way to a $76 million domestic total. The record for the biggest re-release haul of all time belongs to another James Cameron film, and that is Titanic, which earned around $350 million worldwide in 2012, after generating $17 million in its first weekend domestically. Revenge of the Sith has $11 million in its first day. So it's only going to be in theaters, I think, for like a week. But in that week, us Star Wars fans could really send a message, if you will, to Disney, to Lucasfilm, and say, look, we love this movie. Let's do more stuff like this, and we'll watch it. More greatness like this, and we will come to see it. We will see it. We have the chance here to sort of send a message, if you will. Revenge of the Sith is also already outgrossed the $8.7 million reopening haul for The Phantom Menace, which was last year, which ended up generating $20 million worldwide last year. The Phantom Menace made $21 million in its first weekend back in theaters in 2012, while The Empire Strikes Back had $21.9 in its first weekend in 1997. This was sort of the hype back before the prequels had aired. Revenge of the Sith is poised to break both of these records, beating both The Phantom Menace and The Empire Strikes Back. So, and then these other two, Coraline and Interstellar, made $50 million, $55 million. So, can this re-release push Revenge of the Sith past $1 billion? Well, let's take a look. The movie will pass $400 million mark in the domestic box office revenue this weekend, while its global will pass the $850 million mark. So can it make another $150 million in the next week? It's not impossible. It is definitely not impossible. However, $150 million is quite a bit. And that would make it pass $1 billion, which would be pretty cool. Now, if you want more motivation I guess if you need more motivation, to go see this. Check this out. Check this out, chat. This is so cool. Oh, wait, what? What? What happened to this video? Oh, come on, chat. Okay, whatever. Screw this. We're going to go here. So Star Wars posted this. Whoa. That was loud. That was really loud. Brandon Baker, appreciate it. Membership. Okay, hang on one sec. That was so ridiculously loud. Let's turn this way down here. And then turn that way down there too. Jump scares, chat. Jump scares. Okay, so this is what happened at a movie theater showing for Revenge of the Sith. Check this out. Oh my God, it's still so loud. Fans, calm down. God. So this is Hayden Christensen and Samuel L. Jackson surprising fans at a screening of Revenge of the Sith. Fearless, what's up? Okay, the reason that they just went crazy, if you missed it, was he said, and of course, Mace lives. Samuel L. Jackson has always been on the side of Mace Windu could have survived the fall, but it has sort of reignited the Star Wars fandom in the argument of could Mace Windu have survived that fall? Now, you guys know my opinion on this, but I'll give it again. If Mace Windu survived the fall, which I think he could have, the big question that needs to be answered is where is he? Where was he? Why didn't he intervene in the original trilogy? Why didn't he intervene in the Kenobi series or Star Wars Rebels or Andor or The Mandalorian or any of this? He could have showed up anywhere, but he didn't. So do I think he has the capability, being the second best Jedi, as he puts it, does he have the capability of surviving that fall on Coruscant where there's speeders going by every 2 seconds? Yes. But if he did, the explanation of where he has been would have to be extraordinary. Honestly, the only good theory that I've ever seen is that he had to be put into some sort of back-to tank like what was his name from Jedi Survivor? Somebody help me on the chat. What was the High Republic guy from Jedi Survivor who was in the back-to tank that Cal found? Ugh, can't think of his name. But just like that guy was in a back-to tank for like 100 years, 200 years, something like that, and he didn't age a day, that would have to be Mace Windu. He would have to have been put into some sort of cryo freeze. Dagon, yes, Dagon, thank you. He would have to put into some back to tank and locked away in some sort of safe or something. And who knows who would have found him? Like maybe Luke Skywalker finds him. I don't know. But there would have to be some crazy explanation. Now, there's so many fans that really want Mace to come back. And honestly, seeing Samuel L. Jackson in Star Wars again would be great. But the explanation would have to be so good. But tell me in the chat, do you want Mace Windu to return? And do you think he survived the fall? Anthony says, as cool as it would be to have Mace Windu as a Star Wars character again, he's dead. George Lucas killed him. His murder is the link to the fall of the Skywalkers. Yeah, true. And it still can be, even if he survived that. But I don't know. Samuel L. Jackson gave us the purple lightsaber. That's true, too. He was the one who requested that. He lost his memory after the fall and lives in obscurity on the lower levels of Coruscant, that would be horrible. Then what's the point of bringing him back at that point? If he lost all of his memories and all his sort of abilities, then what's the point, you know? Mace Windu surviving would be some story to tell. It would be. And honestly, don't lie to yourselves. If they announced a Mace Windu show, it would blow up the freaking internet. Saying Samuel L. Jackson's coming back to Star Wars, it would be way bigger than even the Kenobi series. And the Kenobi series was massive. It was enormous. It broke all records for Disney Plus numbers because it's Obi-Wan and Anakin / Darth Vader. So when you bring back Ewan and Hayden as Obi-Wan and Anakin / Vader for a show, it's got to break records. If you bring back from the dead Mace Windu and bring Samuel L. Jackson back, it would break records all over the place. So I'm not saying do it, but I'm also not saying don't do it. It would have to be done with such care, in such a way, it would be very difficult to accomplish. It would be so hard to do. However, we can't sit here and act like this hasn't happened before. We can't do that. We literally can't do that. There's been so many characters that have somehow returned, and I'm not even talking about Palpatine. I am not talking about the sequel trilogy. My third favorite character of all time, who just got announced to be getting his own multi-season animated series, Darth Maul, has the same exact arc. He gets cut in half and falls down this massive hole in The Phantom Menace. And he survives. He survives and comes back and has one of the greatest arcs of any Star Wars character. And even his second death to Obi-Wan Kenobi, again on Tatooine, is so good. It's perfect. So it's not like it hasn't been done before, bringing back a character that has been long thought to be dead. Because Darth Maul is the perfect example, because he has such an incredible storyline after he dies. After he gets cut in half and falls the same distance, or maybe even further, that Mace Windu does. And he gets cut in half before he falls. And he survives, being half man, half spider. So there's always the possibility of the survival of the event. It's how you explain it. Because Darth Maul is not in the rest of the prequel trilogy. Darth Maul is not in the original trilogy. Granted, he doesn't survive until then. But he's not in the main events. He's not in the Kenobi series. He is in Rebels and he is in Clone Wars. But he's not in all the other stuff, like the prequel trilogy, even though he's a huge part of the Clone Wars. So there is a way, technically, that you could bring back Mace Windu from the dead. However, do I think they're going to do that? I don't know. If enough fans get behind it, and Samuel L. Jackson, of course, wants to come back, then maybe. But you can't sit here and tell me that it can't be done, because it has been. And it has been done extremely well with a character like Darth Maul. So that's my 2 cents on it. The whole Hayden Christensen and Samuel Jackson coming out on stage is awesome. But him saying Mace lives sparks the whole controversy again. Could Mace Windu have survived the fall? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it's possible, but will it be done? Only time will tell. So that's the whole Revenge of the Sith of it all. It's on course to break records, on course to do all this crazy cool stuff. And I'm excited. I saw it in theaters for the first time ever yesterday, and I can say I got all the great merchandise that came with it, with the popcorn bucket and the cup and all that stuff. And it was exciting. Seeing people at the movie theaters dressed as like a clone troop. I saw a guy with a Captain Rex helmet on and a full suit and tie. It was awesome. People all dressed up, got lightsabers going. It was great. I will say, I saw online like people showing videos of fans screaming the dialogue, like at the end, or when he slaughters the younglings, they all clap and like, what are we doing here? If that happened in my theater, I was gonna stand up and go, shut up! I'm trying to enjoy the movie. I never get to watch in theaters, idiots. Scream at your own TV at home. No, yeah, it's just kind of weird. The whole the Minecraft movie has almost broken the ability to go see a movie. It is pretty weird. But having said that, I didn't have any of that in my theater, and it was awesome. It was great. Yeah. So if you have not seen it, I recommend. The movie's pretty damn good. If you haven't seen Revenge of the Sith, I don't know what the hell you've been doing with your lives. I don't know what the hell you've been doing with your but there you have it. Actually, let's pull this up. Why not? Let's pull it up and put sort of an end cap onto this conversation so we can move on to so that we can move on to Andor season 2, okay? Do you think Mace Windu survived? Survived. There we go. Yes or no? What do we think? And then we're going to move on to Andor season 2. That's it. Mike is the only one who's able to cheer when people die. Yeah. Only me. Yeah. Only me. Okay. The crowd I was with was acting like they were taking a final exam. They were so quiet. That was my crowd too. It was great. Like even in the quiet moments, they were just like, it was respectful. It was peaceful. It was nice, you know? Yeah. It was great. We clapped at the end. It was fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the chicken jockey has ruined the theater going experience. Mace gets healthy and then says, "F it. I'm retiring and living under the radar as a recluse." No, like that's not Mace Windu. That it has to be true to the character still, you know? You know? All right, but let's talk about Andor season 2 because we got some bad news, chat. This Rotten Tomato score is no longer a 99%. This is the end of the world now. It's at currently a 96%. It's dropped a couple after, I don't know, 40, 50 more reviews have been put in. The audience score is at an 80%. Granted, the audience has only seen the first 3 episodes, and the critics have seen all 12. And from what I'm hearing from those critics is that the final 2 arcs are absolutely insane. But an 80% is pretty solid to start for the first 3 episodes. And of course, a 96 is incredible. But we'll see if that shifts at all anymore. But let's talk about 2 things here. One, the big reveal / big twist that is coming with Saw Gerrera's character. And 2, Tony Gilroy talking about Darth Vader and Palpatine being or / not being in season 2. So let's go to Tony Gilroy first. Okay. This comes from Rolling Stone magazine. Andor showrunner reveals that season 2 secrets and why writing Darth Vader is very, very limiting. Tony Gilroy goes deep in the first 3 episodes of the groundbreaking Star Wars series and explains why 2 major characters from the saga will never show up on screen. So pretty much what he's saying here is that Vader and Palpatine are not in season 2. But do we believe this? Do we believe him? That's the big question. Do we believe him, chat? Tell me in the chat, and let's start reading. All right, hang on. Let's move this over a little bit. There we go. We already know an awful lot about the fate of many of the characters in Andor, but the show's 2nd season is nevertheless some of the most gripping television of the year so far. As the timeline barrels towards the beginning of Rogue One, leaping a year ahead every 3 episodes, both the stakes and the scale of the narrative are escalating rapidly. With the show's first block of episodes now available, showrunner Tony Gilroy was ready to break down some burning questions that take a broader look at the season, including a reveal of 2 major characters who definitely won't be appearing in the show. Some spoilers for the first 3 episodes lie ahead, but for the record, Disney does not consider the information about the absent characters to be spoilers. And that again is Vader and Palpatine. What was the process of breaking? So this is the question asked to Tony Gilroy. What was the process of breaking the stories for this season, especially given you were essentially making 4 mini series / 4 movies? Because he was breaking down the 5-season arc into only 2 seasons. Considering the advantage that we had, first of all, we'd done a season already, and we know how to do it. We knew what we were into. I also canonically have to stick to certain items on the calendar. And what he's referring to here is the Gorman Massacre, which happens in 2 BBY. We know that for a fact. Somebody mentioned in the last live stream that we know Saw Gerrera, he leaves the rebellion or splits off from splits off from the rebellion. That happens in 3 BBY. I have not fact checked that, but I'll take your word for it, chat. So there's some things, like he says here, canonically that have to happen at a certain time. And that's why the timeline in this second season is so important. But let me get to the super chat really quickly. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $5 holla, says, I still think Palpatine will be in season 2. But what do we think will happen in this week's episodes? Well, we'll get to that. Okay, let's talk about Tony Gilroy first and what he has to say, and then we'll get to what happens in the next week's episodes. Because I got some, let's just say, crazy theories. Okay, so there's some things that have to work with the calendar that he was given. I have to do Mon Mothma's speech from the Senate on a certain date because we see that in Star Wars Rebels where she calls out Palpatine. She talks about the Gorman Massacre, and then the rebels actually rescue her. Ezra Bridger, Harrison, the Ghost Crew, they rescue her in Star Wars Rebels. Now, there's a lot of the mess about the Gorman Massacre. There was a lot of confusion in canon about what it meant. It had never been resolved. And then beyond that, we know where the ending is, of course, going into Rogue One. So we know where we are going. So they knew a lot going into the second season. They had some things that they had to put in there, but there's a lot of mystery about this Gorman Massacre. We don't really know much about it. We didn't know Cassian Andor was going to be there, and we didn't know Dedra, Cyril, or anybody else like that was going to be there too. John Groom with a 17-month membership. Holy crap. That's insane. I appreciate it, John. Okay. Let's keep going. So the breakthrough was going, oh my God, we are not going to do 5 years worth of seasons. We're not doing 5 seasons. We're going to do another year where each block of 3 represents a new year. So this first 3 was in 4 BBY. Next week's episodes will be in 3 BBY. The following will be in 2, and the following will be leading into Rogue One, as you all know. And literally, I think I probably went back upstairs to my hotel room and started sketching that night, or at least the next day. And then the next revelation was, oh my God, it would be so cool and elegant and smart if we came back and only came back for like 2 or 3 days. So every time we go into a new arc, it's only about 2 or 3 days. Like we just saw in the first week's episodes, it's just the 3 days of the wedding. And then whatever Cassian's doing at that time too. If we come back in those really concentrated periods of time, so really only the most important things that happen in that 1 year, and we really help people with, it will really help people with the timing. If we came back and said, man, we're just going to drop the needle and drop and move away by just like going all different time periods in that year, it wouldn't really make much sense at all. And then the final piece of the puzzle was, with the help of knowing where I have to go, I wrote the ins and outs, the scenes at the top and the end of each block as proof of concept that this could really work, and we wouldn't have to do a lot of naked exposition. Jesus, chat, English. Could we really elegantly let the negative space work in our favor? And that means the time off in between episodes. How is the year gap in between the first 3 episodes and the next 3 episodes? How is that going to work? That negative space. How are they going to make that work in their favor? Clearly, we saw it in the first 3. And then I wrote the first 3 episodes at the top to get that sharp. And then we went into the room and we divvied it up. So pretty much what he's saying here is using the year gaps in between these 3 episode arcs to their own advantage. They've already done it a little bit with the first 3 episodes, but I think it's going to be more and more as we move along here. Because in the first 3 episodes, we immediately start with Cassian already infiltrating the Empire. He's already more of a leader because it's been a year. We know that him, Bix, and Brazo have been living on Mina Rao for at least a year. And they're working closely together now with Luthen and Kalea. And Luthen now is at the wedding with Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma has planned this whole big wedding for her daughter and all that stuff. Dedra's gotten a promotion, kind of, with Krennic. Cyril's definitely gotten a promotion. Big round of applause for Cyril in the chat. Cyril, the goat, he's gotten a promotion. No longer eating cereal with his mom. He's now living with Dedra. Who knows if she's providing the cereal. But Cyril, no longer eating cereal. Real bummed out about it. But even still, they're using that time in between seasons to their advantage. So the next question was asked, Hang on, I want to get to the Palpatine one. Taste of Luthen's absolute ruthlessness, ramped up, blah, blah, blah. Where's the Palpatine one, chat? Mon Mothma and her husband. Cyril's mom, of course. Where's the Palpatine one, chat? Let's talk about this one first. You do reveal that this was all been in Yavin. So the first 2 episodes, the place where Cassian is Yavin 4, the base where the rebels are in Rogue One and in A New Hope, the future home for the rebel base. What are we supposed to take away from that reveal? So here's what Tony Gilroy has to say about that. It's a rebel hideout that certain people know about in the way pirates used to have a certain island or something like that. So Cassian Andor is a bit like Zillig, sure, in a way. Not that he's invisible or anonymous, but he's in all the places where things happen. So he's pretty much our Forrest Gump, if you will, because Forrest Gump, the whole gist of Forrest Gump is that he's in all of these crazy events that happen around the world at that time. And that's sort of our Cassian Andor. He's leading us through all these great events that happened during the origins of the rebellion right before the craziness happens in Rogue One. And no one has ever done that yet with the origins of Yavin. And the only thing that we really know is that there were these beasts there. It's already in canon. These beasts are canon. So the ones that we saw in in the first 3 episodes. I don't know. It just feels cool, like a cool thing to do. So why not? Showing us that Yavin was once just this barren, abandoned temple, if you will. So here comes the Vader of it all. I'm not allowed to say at this point that Vader doesn't ever appear in the show. So I'm guessing the people who are interviewing have seen the first 12 episodes. Was that ever something that you thought about? So here's what he said. No, it was never on my agenda. Writing for Darth Vader is really limiting. I've done it. He doesn't have a lot to say. Okay. Writing for Vader is very limiting. He never has a lot to say. Vader, he's more of a breather, you know? He's more of a type guy. He's not really a dialogue guy. We know this. But he's not really denying that Vader's really in the show here. And even if he was or wasn't, I don't think he's going to tell us that. Because especially if he is in the show, there's no way in hell he's going to reveal that he is in the show. There's no way. Absolutely no way. However, there's the whole Dedra being choked in the trailer type thing. Krennic and the Death Star really leads to Palpatine and Vader. Now, I still think the more likely appearance is Palpatine rather than Vader. But Vader is in Rogue One. This show is leading directly into Rogue One. So it's possible that Vader will be in the second season. Now, tell me in the chat, do you think Darth Vader will be in season 2? Now, I'm not going to pull this up, so just tell me in the chat, because I want to pull up the next question that I'm going to ask in a second. So tell me right now in the chat, do you think that Vader, Darth Vader will be in Andor season 2? Even if it's just a tiny little cameo for like 1 split second, maybe it's even like a post-credit scene or something. I don't know. If you think he'll be in it at all, what do we think? Let's see the Dedra clip. Could I find the Dedra clip really quickly? Hang on. Was it in the latest trailer where she's being force choked again? Let's see. By the way, did you see this? They posted 1 hour of Mon Mothma dancing at the end of season 1. 1 hour long video. Don't believe me? Right there. 1 hour long 1 hour of dancing Mon Mothma season 2 Andor. That's pretty funny. Okay. Let's see. Let's just go to the trailer that I know it's in. And that is this one?
I came with you to be part of something.
Yeah, it is.
The Empire cannot win.
Oh, here we go.
Monster will come for us all.
So this is the big piece of evidence, I guess, to support the theory that Vader will be in the second season. Senator Chris, what's up? How we doing? It's been a while. This is the big sort of piece of evidence that has people thinking that Vader will be in season 2. It's hard to deny that she's sort of freaking out here, at least in some sort of way. Now, granted, people think that she could be having a panic attack of some sort or whatever it may be. However, did we see anything embarrassing in Mike's YouTube feed? Let's check it out. We got, well, first of all, my live stream for some reason. George Lucas interview that happened yesterday, which is pretty cool. Brazos dying. Some weird unemployment video. Top 10 things that made Bob Barker angry. Okay. Tales of the Jedi trailer. Tony Gilroy interview. Diego Luna interview. Somebody reacting to Andor season 1. They're all just interviews, Chad. Okay. But Dedra being force choked. Possibly. Some form of torture. I don't know, Chad. What do we think's going on here? Is it really going to be Vader in this show? Or is she just having a panic attack? What do we think? What do we think? So Tony Gilroy says no. Well, no, he doesn't really say no. He says it was never on his agenda to write some dialogue for Vader or make an appearance for Vader. Writing a Vader is really limiting. He's done it before. He did it for Rogue One. He doesn't have a lot to say. And maybe he still doesn't have a lot to say, but he could still be in the show. And again, he's never going to tell us, yes, he's in the show. But they continue. The Emperor never shows up either. But the way he's spoken about, this is the question, by the way, makes me picture the more of an original George Lucas conception of him. More like Richard Nixon type deal. As George Lucas once said, than the crackling villain that we see in the movies. You have to picture him on a day-to-day management side. And here's what Tony Gilroy had to say about that. He's too big of a piece of meat for me to introduce in this series. It was too heavy to lift. I thought about it at one point, but it was just too heavy to lift. So we've gotten multiple mentions of Palpatine, but we never see him. And honestly, there's no evidence to suggest that Palpatine's going to be in this season, except for, I guess, Mon Mothma saying the monster will come for us all.
The monster will come for us all.
Like, that's really the only thing we have. And
Monster will come for us.
She's obviously not talking about Palpatine right here to his face. So that's probably not Palpatine in that scene. However, the argument can be made, again, that they would never tell us that Palpatine is in the series if he's going to be in it. Now, we know for a fact that multiple familiar faces will be in Season 2. Admiral Raddus, we know that for a fact, was in a trailer that was shown to the people at Star Wars Celebration. We know that a legacy character has been recast for Season 2. Tony Gilroy himself has said that a legacy character from Star Wars had to be recasted for Season 2 of Andor. Who that may be, we have no idea. Some people think it could be Bail Organa. Some people think it could be Tarkin or something. I don't know. But Vader and Palpatine are still, I would say, on the table. Now, maybe they're teetering on the edge of the table. Maybe they're not fully on board the table. But that table, it has a hint of Palpatine and Vader sprinkled in there. More likely scenarios are like a Bail Organa, like a, I don't know, Galen Erso type deal. But Palpatine and Vader are definitely not out of the conversation, and this is a big reason as to why. And they wouldn't tell us if they were going to be. Yeah. The gambling is not on, chat. Wait, is it on? Is the gambling on, chat? No, it's not on. Yeah. Seems like more of a panic attack to me. Well, the weird thing is her eyes sort of follow somebody through the room.
Revolution is not for the...
As she looks to the our right, her left. So it's almost like she's following somebody who's walking into the room. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's all very interesting. In a time where all these characters exist, Vader, Palpatine, in a story that's focusing on the Empire, on Coruscant, where these characters exist the most, it's very interesting. Now, it's cool how he's sort of talking about how certain events have to happen in Season 2, the Gorman Massacre, stuff with Mon Mothma leaving the Senate, Saw Gerrera leaving the Rebellion. And like I mentioned on Thursday's live stream, in Rogue One, Mon Mothma, when talking about Saw Gerrera, says that he left the Rebellion after he caused them a ton of problems. So now let's get to the big old twist in predictions, I guess, for this week's episodes. What I think's going down this week in episodes 4, 5, and 6 for Andor Season 2. So throw in, of course, your craziest predictions in the chat. I think what's happening this week is a whole lot of Saw Gerrera. We didn't see him at all in the first 3 episodes. Now, granted, he wasn't involved in any of those storylines that were going on, but his storyline might be the most important moving forward in this second season. And here's the reason why. Not only do I think his falling out with the rebellion is going to be very epic and probably explosive, if you will, but no, did I lose that? Really? Oh, come on. Okay, hang on, I gotta find it again. But when they did all these red carpet interviews for Andor Season 2, one of the craziest ones that nobody really expected to be this crazy was the one with Forrest Whitaker, the actor for Saw Gerrera, because he revealed something pretty wild. I had this pulled up, chat. I don't know why this page refreshed, but it's really annoying. So let me scroll back down here, because this interview was from like a month ago. Maybe not a full month ago, but a while ago. Feels like a month ago. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it was only from like 12 days ago, but it feels like a long time ago. Okay. So this is what Forrest Whitaker had to say about the character of Saw Gerrera in Season 2.
I saw some fans speculating online after watching the trailer for Season 2 that there might be a big reveal coming about your character. Is there anything you can tease?
I can't say anything about it. There is a big reveal, I can say that.
There is a big reveal for Saw Gerrera. Now, we see and hear a lot of Saw Gerrera in Season 2's trailers. When you watch him say, hang on, let's go back to the trailer really quickly. So there's a big reveal for Saw Gerrera in there. Let's go back to this trailer really quick. Yeah, I think he's in this trailer too. Let's see.
If it goes up in flames,
It will burn
Very
very brightly.
But if I'm giving up everything, I want to win.
R.I.P.
We
Brasso.
have to.
Actually, we haven't watched back this trailer yet after we watched the first 3 episodes. There's a lot that we've already seen.
We must stand together. We will be crushed.
Resistance is absurd.
It's a weapon. They're building a weapon. The monster will come for us all.
Revolution is not for the saying. You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
Revolution is not for the sane, he says. So much of this, we see Saw Gerrera, we hear Saw Gerrera. Oh, you guys can't see him. The chat is in the way. You see Saw Gerrera, you hear Saw Gerrera a lot in all of these trailers. Yes, the Boom trailer too, where he goes, boom! But we really don't know what's going on with this character in this second season. None at all. they're keeping some secrets here. They're keeping the secret of how K2SO and Cassian meet and how K2SO gets reprogrammed into a rebel droid. They're keeping that a secret. They're not keeping a secret of the Mon Mothma's daughter's wedding. Now, we've already seen that, but before it aired, they weren't keeping that a secret. They're not keeping a secret the Gorman massacre. That the fact that the Death Star and Krennic will be in the season. But what they are keeping secrets about are sort of the last two arcs of the season. That is post Gorman massacre stuff, K2SO, and Saw Gerrera. Because when we see Saw in season 1, Seesaw, get it? Funny. Seesaw in season 1, he seems to be in pretty good shape. He's got both of his legs. In Rogue One, he's got 2 metal legs, and he is all beaten up. And Mon Mothma, when describing Saw Gerrera in Rogue One, is saying that he has caused the rebellion so many problems. He's crazy. And I think those problems that he caused will be shown not only in episodes 4, 5, and 6, but throughout the course of the rest of the season. I think Saw Gerrera will be a very big issue for the rest of the rebellion moving forward for the rest of season 2. Now, I'm not sure how the timeline lines up because Saw is actually in Rebels. And I'm not too sure when that happens. But isn't Saw also bald in that Rebels episode? Chat? Somebody help me out in the chat. But when Saw Gerrera is in Rebels, I think he's bald. And I don't really know when that happens. But speaking of Saw Gerrera being bald, in this same interview that we just watched here, Forrest Whitaker is bald. Now, I'm sure this is just the hairstyle he is rocking nowadays, but even still, I wouldn't doubt seeing Saw Gerrera. Well, hang on, let me look this up because I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99% sure when I'm picturing it in my head that he's bald. Saw Gerrera in Rebels. Let's see. Yeah, he's bald in Rebels. Okay. So this is him in Rebels. This is him in Rebels. This is him in the Clone Wars with hair. But this is him in Rebels, fully bald. Hang on. When does he appear in Rebels? Let's see. He's in the 3rd season in part 2 of Ghosts of Geonosis, sorry. So he's in season 3. Okay. When does season 3 of Rebels take place? Let's see. In 3 BBY. Okay, so in 3 BBY, which is... Oh, wait. Maybe late 2 BBY? Hang on. There's a notable time jump between the end of Rebels Season 2 and the beginning of Season 3, the latter of which is set in 2 BBY. Okay, so 2 BBY? Either way, at some point, Saw goes with the bald look. And then, Saw Gerrera in Rogue One, he goes back to the hair. Because in Rogue One, when he dies, he's got the hair. However, when he actually saves Jyn Erso from the cave, he is bald. So here we go. The hairstyle of Saw Gerrera is putting our pieces together here, Chad. Here he's bald. Here he's not. This is when he dies on Jeddah. So this is when he saves Jyn Erso. But that's long before that. And here in Rebels, he's bald. Where did the Rebels picture go? In Rebels, he's bald. And in Andor Season 2, from the trailers that we've seen, he has hair. This is the bald / not bald Saw Gerrera conspiracy, okay, chat? So in the upcoming 2 or 3 episodes, it's highly likely that Saw Gerrera is going to play a huge role and he's going to screw over the rebellion in some sort of way. His extremist views are not going to fit well with what Mon Mothma and I guess Luthen too are trying to do. Okay? So his appearance in Rebels and Mon Mothma's appearance in Rebels 2 are the two things really that Tony Gilroy had to keep consistent with Andor Season 2. Because those two events, the Gorman Massacre and Mon Mothma leaving the Senate, those still have to work out the same way that they played out in Rebels. In Star Wars Rebels, Saw is seen on a hologram on Yavin 4 confronting Mon Mothma. How do I not remember this? I gotta rewatch Rebels Season 3, I think. That's what's gotta happen, chat. Saw confronts Mon Mothma? Confronting Mon Mothma. Rebels. Let's see. Here we go. Here we go, chat.
Members of the Alliance to restore the Republic.
Saw.
Your losses today stem from your leaders' cowardice, their unwillingness to take decisive action against the Empire. All across the galaxy, your people suffer while the leaders of this rebellion refuse to act.
Should I shut it down?
No, I want to speak to him.
First of all, chat, is my brain broken? I don't remember any of this. And I feel like I just recently did a rewatch of Rebels, maybe last year. I think my brain is completely broken, chat. I don't remember a single bit of this.
Madam Senator, I'm honored.
What is your business here?
You ignored my warning about the Delindi relay and paid the price. Now you have confirmation, yet still you refuse to destroy it.
So long as our allies in...
So this is in Rebels Season 3, correct? So if this is in Rebels Season 3, chat, that means that this will take place over the course of the next 2 weeks of Andor Season 2. The events of the Gorman Massacre, the events of Mon Mothma leaving the Senate, and this whole rivalry between Saw Gerrera and Mon Mothma happens over the course of the next 2 weeks in the Andor Season 2 plot. So the Gorman Massacre won't happen this week. It will not. So I think more of what's going to happen this week is Saw Gerrera and the setup, let's say, for Gorman. We're going to get to see Dedra now and Cyril now, both stationed on Gorman, and maybe even luring the rebellion into Gorman, as we saw the conversation between Krennic and Dedra during their meeting, and how she was like, you have to have rebels placed in the right place at the right time to sort of spark this whole Gorman type deal. So there might be setting up the Gorman Massacre, but also setting up what's happening with Saw Gerrera. Yes. Stream the whole episode? No, I was just watching the 1 second. Mike, are you really a fan of Rebels? Yes, okay. Rebels is my favorite show ever. And for some reason, my brain feels broken right now, and I'm going to start my rewatch of Rebels tonight. Yeah. The Bald Awakening. Oh, my God. The Bald Awakens. So Saw Gerrera does go from bald to haired to bald very quickly over the course of, I don't know, a year. And that actually might be a way to almost distinguish what year it is in the timeline. Because Saw might have hair this week in the next 3 episodes, but the following week he won't. It'll be pretty interesting. Yeah. Will Saw's storyline be about his hair loss, the journey of no hair? I mean, possibly. Maybe that's why he's rebelling. But his hair comes back. Because this is in Rogue One. I don't know. It honestly looks like he might have lost his hand, too, because he's got the glove on that hand and no glove on that hand. I don't know. Saw is very mangled up in Rogue One, and he's not right now in Andor. So something crazy is going to happen with Saw, something that's not in the trailers, something that's being kept a secret because of its importance to the story. And that's sort of the big thing that's happening. This is the big twist-a-roo that's coming, and it's all focused around this one character, Saw Gerrera. He seems to be the most important piece to the puzzle moving forward. His connections to Mon Mothma, his connections to Luthen. We haven't even talked about Luthen this stream. Luthen's importance. I actually think he might die, not this week, but maybe within the next 2 weeks. I don't think they're going to keep him till the finale. Yeah, I don't think they will. Actually, Mike Fields in the chat says Luthen dies this week. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I think he will die at some point before the finale, before the final 3 episodes. So it could be this week, or it could be the following one. But Luthen is not really around during the events of Rebels. During the time we see Mon Mothma in Rebels and Saw Gerrera, the scenes we just watched. Interesting. Season 3 is the Secret Cargo episode. Episode 18. Okay. Yeah. In the Name of Rebellion happens in season 4, episode 3. Okay. So he shows up in season 3 and season 4. In season 3, he's bald. In season 4, he's got hair. Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you. Now, when does Rebels season 4 take place? Because that's pretty important, actually. When does Rebels season 4 take place? Because if Mon Mothma and the Rebels crew are on Yavin 4 in that scene, Star Wars Rebels Season 4 takes place in 1 BBY and bridges into 0 BBY. Okay, so almost what Tony Gilroy was talking about in that interview, which was how they're using the time period in between these episode arcs, the 1 year off in between the episode arcs, they're using that to their advantage because Star Wars Rebels almost tells that story for them, giving information about Saw Gerrera and Mon Mothma during the events of the time period in between these episode arcs, in between these different years. Interesting. So the events of that conversation between Mon Mothma and Saw Gerrera will happen in between the final 2 arcs of this season. Huh. So Mon Mothma will be on Yavin 4, or will be brought to Yavin 4 and leave Coruscant in the 3rd week of episodes. Second to last. Interesting. So what it looks like is the most mystery remains in this coming week's episodes and the finale. Because it pretty much means that the 3rd week is going to be Mon Mothma, the Gorman Massacre, and her getting out of town. Get out of town. She's going to be rescued from Coruscant by Cassian Andor and then sent into space to go meet the Rebels crew. We might even get mention of the Rebels crew, as Cassian's probably like, oh, we got people meeting you at this destination, go there, and we know just subconsciously that location is where the Rebels crew picks up Mon Mothma and brings her to the Rebel base. So that's sort of how they're using the time period in between seasons, the year gap, to their own advantage, to help out the season. Because the 3rd arc looks like it's going to be the Gorman Massacre and the fallout of Mon Mothma leaving the Senate and calling out Palpatine. But that means the following arc will be the fallout of all of that. But then what the hell happens this week? Because that's the final 2 arcs. What the hell is going down this week, chat? Tell me in the chat. Let's hear it. What's going down in episodes 4, 5, and 6 for Andor Season 2? I think a lot of this is what's going down.
You're right here, and you're ready to fight!
Whatever's happening here with Saw Gerrera and his crew, whatever is happening here, where is it? Where is it, chat? Here with Saw Gerrera and his crew, this is all happening this week. Whatever it is, I have no idea. Whatever they're up to, not a clue, but that's happening this week. Yeah. If Luthen dies this week, I'd be shocked. Absolutely shocked. And honestly, pretty mad because he's my favorite character in this series. And if we have to keep going, then that would kind of suck. Yeah. If we had a whole half a season without Luthen, that would be pretty devastating. Because in the first 3 episodes, he's obviously a big part of it. He's unveiling his Rakatan Empire statue. Well, I guess it's a Cinderellan statue, 25,000-year-old statue. But he doesn't really do much. All of his conversations are great, but he doesn't really do much, you know? Tay's going to disappear. No body, no crime. Well, Tay Coma's a dead man. Yeah, he's dead for sure. Holly says, Mike, somebody in the Discord said the place with the spiders is on Gorman? The place with the spiders? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Gorman does have the spiders. We saw that in the Krennic video. Lots of rebel cells coming together. Dedra's Pi network getting settled in Gorman. Luthen doing more twists and plannings for Gorman. Interesting. So you think Luthen's going to be the one who plans Gorman, but it's really Dedra who's planning it because she wants the rebels to attack Gorman? Huh. Rebel cells coming together. I could see that because we know we're going to see Admiral Raddus. We know that we're going to have all these different rebel groups come together on Yavin 4, where we see them in Rogue One. Except for Saw, really. Except for Saw. Yeah. Mike, what about Kino Loy? I don't know. Honestly, after watching the first 3 episodes, I don't see Kino showing up anywhere. So I don't know what Andy Serkis was going on about. Andy Serkis plays Kino Loy from season 1. Fan favorite character, couldn't swim. We know the deal. One way out, you know, the whole shebang. But we thought that Kino Loy would be in season 2. Now, he could still be. He could be. Andy Serkis said he was going to be in season 2. But the real question is, where would he show up? And why would he even be there? So my faith in Kino Loy appearing, it's a little shaken. Yeah, I don't know anymore. Yeah. In one of the trailers, there's somewhere with spider prints on the walls. In this trailer? Hang on.
The monster will come for us all.
Revolution is not for the saying.
Oh, this thing right here? I don't see any spider prints on the wall, but maybe that's what they're investigating here.
You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
Or are you talking about this scene with Saw? Maybe that's why he's got the mask on? I don't know.
Ready to fight.
There's a future.
But yeah, like when we watch this trailer back now, after seeing the first 3 episodes, this is, of course, the scene from the end of from episode 3. Boom! Right in the face. Okay, let's talk about this for a sec. We thought this was at the wedding. We thought Krennic was going to be at the wedding because of the background here, and we see a scene with Luthen and Mon standing across from them. So what is this?
There's a future here for those who dare.
Okay, hang on. Let me pull up the picture I'm thinking of here for once. One quick sec. So we got official images from Andor, as we usually do. Oops. And one of them, if I can find it, was before or after this chat. I don't even know anymore. Okay, hang on. Aha, okay. Okay. Oh, found it. Okay, perfect. So this scene right here, where Krennic and other Imperials are with the same wall in the background, are at this location with Luthen and Mon Mothma. Same location. They're smiling at each other, which is very creepy. Same location. And Perrin is off to the side here on the left of Mon Mothma. But we all thought that this was going to be the wedding, and it's not. So what is this? And why is Luthen there? This is on Gorman, you think? Why would Mon Mothma be on Gorman, though? I don't know. Like, for some reason, I just thought this was going to be at the wedding because they were all dressed up nice. But I guess Mon Mothma is dressed up nice everywhere she goes because she's a senator. But what could this event be? And it's highly likely that it will be this week because in week 3, we're going to see Mon Mothma leave the Senate because of what happens on Gorman. So these 2 images right here are likely to be this week, giving us a little bit more of information into what happens this week. Because by week 3, she's leaving the Senate, and by week 4, she'll be fully on Yavin 4, and he might be dead. So this is happening this week. But what event is this? It's not the wedding. Wedding's over. It's done. Wedding go bye-bye. We are a year later. He's got a weird suit on. What is this for? What's the black stripe with white stripe mean, chat? What does it mean? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's the wedding. It's not the wedding. We saw the wedding, Chris. We saw the wedding. Gorman might be Luthen's art depot. Yeah, well, that's the question is why would Luthen be there? What purpose would Luthen have being at this conversation? Yeah, the wedding go bye-bye. Wedding gone. We are a year later. So a year later. Oh my God. Mon Mothma's daughter gets divorced and is marrying somebody else a year later. Okay, okay. Yeah, sure, maybe. Sure, maybe. Probably not. The weird thing is that Luthen is in attendance to whatever this is. Because he's just a gallery owner. That's it. Like, he shouldn't be at an event with the Empire and senators unless he's unveiling a new piece, I guess. I don't know. Very strange. But this will happen this week. At least I'm 90% sure it will happen this week because in week 3, Gorman Massacre happens and she's out of the Senate. And in week 4, she will definitely not be in the same room as Krennic, ever. Or the same room as her husband, even, ever. And Luthen will probably be dead at that point. So yeah, this is happening this week. Whatever is happening in this scene is coming on Tuesday. Yeah. Now that I look back here, let's take an even closer look at some other images here. Oh, this is the spider on the wall you're talking about. So this is on Gorman. So Cinta and Val are meeting back up on Gorman. This could be this week. Could be this week or week 3. Could be. This is probably not until the end of the season, or at least closer to the end of the season. This is on Gorman. Dedra on Gorman. That could be this week too. Let's see. I guess that's it. I guess that's it in terms of screenshots. Yeah, this won't be happening until the end of the season. Vel on Yavin 4, but that does mean that she will survive quite some time. This was Cassian escaping Coruscant with Mon, which I think will happen in the 3rd week. So not this coming week, but the week after. And these are all sort of interviews from before the season, so they don't help us. Okay. Actually, this is a... this is an interesting one. This is the emergency broadcast teaser trailer. Take a look at this.
Emergency broadcast. If you can hear me, Imperial ships are already landing. Help us! Is there no one who can help us?
Okay, so this is the scene. This was the trailer I've been looking for quite a long time. This is the trailer I've been looking for. So when we look at the first couple scenes here,
Emergency broadcast.
so the dialogue about this emergency broadcast is coming most likely from Gorman. But the scenes that we're seeing with our eyes, we've already seen through the first 3 episodes. Not all of them, but at least for the first couple, like this, we already saw in episode 2 or 3. This we've already seen.
Can hear me.
That we've already seen. But the audio behind it, the if you can hear me, help us, please help us, that's not happened yet. That we've already seen.
Imperial ship.
By the way, we're not going back to Mina Row. I think B2 is stranded there for life. He's got a new family, I guess. He's done. I think B2 has been sidelined for the rest of the season. I'd be really shocked to see him come back. But we'll see.
Ships are already landing.
Seen this already. This was the wedding. This we have not seen. This is the Gorman Massacre, but yeah.
Help us!
Hang on. Star Wars just posted a new short. Oh, it's Revenge of the Sith thing. Never mind. Never mind. Okay. I just wanted to see if it was going to be another Andor trailer, but it's not. Okay. We've seen this. Okay, this is the big one. This looks like, from what you guys have pointed out, Dr. Gorst. It's the same outfit that he wore in season 1 when he's torturing Bix. And just from the looks of his head, it's not really anybody else we know. Doesn't look like Dedra, doesn't look like Cassian, doesn't look like anybody except for Dr. Gorst. So the likelihood, I guess the smart guess, educated guess, if you will, says that this would be Dr. Gorst. Now, the big reason that this is important, like Jason says in the chat, is this looks like Bix is getting her revenge. As somebody has broken in to this facility and is torturing the doctor. Now, I really hope it's Bix so that she gets her revenge and it's this great sort of redemption arc for Bix. What's on his mouth? I think it's the same thing that happened. Didn't this thing get put on Bix's mouth too? Sort of to stop her screaming? Oh, wait, no. I don't know. Might just be to stop him screaming so that nobody hears this happening. But I don't know. Either way, Dr. Gorst is being tortured. You can see him shaking there. So we're getting some sort of revenge tour. But this is on the ISB headquarters on Coruscant. So Bix and Cassian are breaking into the ISB headquarters on Coruscant, which is crazy.
Is there no one who can help us?
And that's Cassian also on Coruscant. Or looks like Coruscant. But that's a great trailer. I've been looking for that one for quite some time, actually, so let me save it again so it's more closer to the top of my feed. Okay. There's that. We didn't yet see this creepy scene between the 1 hour, you have 1 hour scene.
How long can I stay?
An hour.
Are you kidding? Do you think they're really watching Edie's apartment?
So, we haven't seen this yet, but this could be in the upcoming week's episodes. Do you really think they're watching Edie's apartment?
No, but we've put too much in now to have it go wrong for something so small.
So, Cyril and Dedra seem to think, or the Empire seems to think, that there's people onto them.
An hour.
Turn out the lights.
Can't believe you had me followed.
Turn out the lights.
So yeah, that's a little strange, but they seem to think that the rebellion is onto them if they're watching Edie's apartment and watching Cyril as well. That could happen. A lot can change over a year in Star Wars. I mean, you think about the craziness that happens over the course of a year in the Star Wars timeline. A lot can change in between these weeks. So where we begin with our characters in episode 4 this week could be in a very different place for a lot of them. Mon Mothma, last we saw, was dancing her heart away as she got drunk at her daughter's wedding after her best friend just went off to die in a ship flown by Cinta, where he's going to die. So how that is an effect for the next year, and where we lead into episode 4 with Mon Mothma and her relationship with Luthen after he killed her former best friend from her childhood. Well, that's going to be a little interesting, to say the least. Yeah. Okay. Can we get some good cups follow orders? And this is a very special good cup that follows orders because this is the first day we are unveiling a new good cup that follows orders. Yeah, that's right, chat. We are officially retiring the old and in with the new. The 20th anniversary Revenge of the Sith cup looks so snazzy. Looks awesome. Let's take a sip out of it. It just tastes like Sith. No, it tastes so good. Yeah. No, it's sad to see it go, but been through some rough times. I mean, it's a Rise of Skywalker cup too. It is a Rise of Skywalker. It has to be put in like some sort of safe or some sort of case, trophy case of sorts. It's done its time. It needs to retire. So, Out with the old, new, in with the new. It's actually slightly smaller, the new cup. It's wider, but shorter, so I don't know. But it's Revenge of the Sith versus Rise of Skywalker. I think Revenge of the Sith takes it, but we'll see. We'll see, chat. Which movie's better? Tell me in the chat. Rise of Skywalker or Revenge of the Sith? It has become one with the Force. It'll have to become a Force ghost. Yeah. It'll have to become a Force ghost for sure. We are at 149,000 subscribers. Oh, we are getting actually very, very, very close to 150. So much so that I thought we had a tiny chance of making it during this live stream. Oh my God, chat. Chat, we are at 149,999. We are one subscriber away right now. One subscriber away from 150. One, chat. So I didn't think we would hit it this quickly, but it looks like we might have. And for 150, I do have something epic. Don't you worry. It's not dumping a cup of milk on my head. That's only for 100,000, maybe for 1 million, but we'll see. But for 150, we do have something pretty cool. It rhymes with Urch Door. It rhymes with Perch S'more. It rhymes with Merch More. Yeah. That's your hint, chat. That's your hint. And I'll even give you a sneak peek at some of the designs here. Speaking of Kino Loy, speaking of One Way Out, check this out. Check this out, chat. Actually, let's open both of these. Yeah. Go full screen. You're going to get a really, really brief sneak peek. You ready? All right, let's see. I'll only give you the sneak peek if we hit 100, if we hit 150. I'm only giving you the sneak peek if we hit 150. So hang on. It's crazy. We're going to hit it on a live stream. That's insane. Let's see. Oh, shit. We did it. We did it, chat. Hang on. Let me take a screenshot so you believe me. Let me take a screenshot so you believe me, chat. We did it. We did it. Hang on. Let me take a better screenshot than that, chat. Jeez. Okay, here we go. That's much. What the heck? Zoom in. Why this no zoom in, chat? Hang on. There we go. There it is. Let's go! Let's freaking go, chat. 150,000 subscribers. Insane, especially when we break out the new good cup that follows orders. And oh yeah, that's right. I'll let you in on the secrets. I'll show you the goods, chat. So it rhymes with Urch Door. What I say, church door? It rhymes with church door. And let's just say Kino Loy is very relevant in this one. This will be up, let's just say Monday's live stream. Monday's live stream will be a good spot to debut it, okay? Because it's not quite yet ready. I was trying to get it ready for a 150, but we have some designs ready. We're still working on some others. But we got this one. And we got this one. This was actually designed by Samantha herself. So shout out to Sam for this incredible design. The good cup that follows orders. The good cup that follows orders. So we got some pretty cool stuff. This is only two of many of the designs that are being worked on behind the scenes, but these are two of my favorites, if I do say so myself. I certainly like the One Way Out one quite a bit, and the heptagon around it, because that's of course the shape of the thing, you know. And then good cups follow orders. Pretty damn cool. I Hodge with a very generous $2 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says. What the hell? says, "Congrats on becoming 150th Legion Super Trooper." Well, I appreciate that, Haja. I really, really do. Super chats, memberships, keep the lights on over here, and definitely help us to get 150,000 subscribers. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah. Pretty dang cool. It is very coincidental that we made it on a live stream. Because think about it. It could have happened at any moment throughout the day. Actually, this live stream wasn't even supposed to be scheduled for right now. We were supposed to be live streaming hours ago. This only happened because I had something at 2 today. It's crazy. Like the chances of this happening. It could have happened at any of the other 24 hours of the day on any day of the week, but it just so happened that it happened here. So, well, you can get that mug soon, Haja. You can get that mug very, very soon. Yeah. Nathan says, "I subscribed last year in May before the Acolyte. The Force was telling me I needed to be here." Well, we appreciate it, Nathan. Yeah, it is funny when you think about it because so many people subscribe to the channel at different times. So many people join the people who love Star Wars at different times. It's always a great time to join it, but you got people coming during the Acolyte times, during the Skeleton Crew times, during the Bad Batch times, during the Mando times, during Ahsoka time, all over the place. Comes in ebbs and flows, Mike used the Force to see the future and delayed his live stream. I didn't purposely delay the live stream. I would have had it at 2 today if I didn't have something going on. But I guess the Force did it itself. I guess that's what's happening now. I had no input on that. Yeah. None at all. Yeah. All right, we already what? Oh, wait, what? Yeah, we already looked at that. We already watched that. We already watched that. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing, chat. Okay. You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. Oh, this was something pretty cool too. So we talked about, of course, how Holly with a very generous $5 Holly says, "Congrats, Michael." I appreciate that, Holly. That means the world. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the love in the chat. I'm seeing all the hearts. I'm seeing all the stuff. I see it all, chat. I appreciate it quite a bit. I really, really do. Says, "How are you?" I'm good. How are you? I'm excited for tomorrow. Going to see Revenge of the Sith in theaters. Nice. Didn't get to go as a kid. Nice. Very special moment. There you go. Star Wars politics. That's awesome. I hope you have a blast. Ready for Tuesday. I'm ready for Tuesday too. Yeah. Indeed. Okay, but let me go back to this. So we talked about how Palpatine and Vader are supposedly not going to be in season 2 because Tony Gilroy says so. Because he tells the truth all the time, chat. Because he reveals all the truth about Andor season 2 all the time. But what we got to talk about is this. Tony Gilroy says, and actually let's open up the balls. Hang on. Let's open up the whole article here really quickly. Damn it, chat. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, let's see. It happened yesterday. How could Empire Magazine have possibly posted this many articles in the last day? How is this possible? Oh, hang on. I Hodge with a very generous $2 holla. I appreciate it. That says, "Can't say I remember no." What does that say? Oh, at Atten. That's pretty funny. Can't say I remember no at Atten. Where is this? Oh, so of course Brazos died in episode 3. Spoiler alert. Brazos died in episode 3, but he's now been cast in House of the Dragon. I mean, How to Train Your Dragon. I mean, House of the Dragon season 3. How to Train Your Dragon. Okay, I must have scrolled past it. Where the hell is this? Why is this so hard to find? I'm just looking for the Tony Gilroy article. Where is it? Okay, I guess I just gotta wait. it? Could it be? No, this is about... No. 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 You die. Hang on. Hang on, chat. Hang on. That's not it. All right, let's just go to the tweet then. Screw it. You're no help. Okay, let's just read this. Tony Gilroy says that a show like Andor will never happen again. More lies. Send him to Borg Gullet. No one ever is going to start a show on this scale again. Shot it practically, and have the resources to do something like this. So it's more of a budgetary issue because it did cost $300 million to create. But we were protected all the way down the line. Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm, Bob Iger, the audience, The Mandalorian's success. We had all these people out there backing our play. And that's why he says that something like this will never happen again. Now, I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly because of Andor. I actually think because of The Mandalorian success and the success on Disney Plus that they were able to create this Andor show, yes. But the success of Andor itself is actually going to allow us to get even crazier projects in the Star Wars universe. Because when you think about it, Andor is so different, I guess, from any other Star Wars we've ever seen, because it's no lightsabers, it's no force, it's really grounded, it's whatever, mature, if you will. So Andor does something that we've never seen before in Star Wars, and I actually think that more so is going to make it so that we will see more things like this again, especially from Star Wars, because they took a huge risk making this Andor series, and the fans absolutely love it, with the exception, of course, the Andor community. But those people are a very small group of people. And currently, season 1 sits at like a 96, and so does season 2 on Rotten Tomatoes. And the audience scores are also very, very high for a Star Wars project. So I think Tony Gilroy is incorrect here.
Incorrect.
And I think that Andor season 2 is actually going to pave the way for more Star Wars projects to take risks, to do things that Andor is doing right now. What projects that may be, I have no idea. I don't think a Maul series that got announced at Star Wars Celebration has anything to do with Andor, but I think the success of the Bad Batch has to do with that too. But in terms of live action projects, currently the only two we have still for the future is Andor season 2 and Ahsoka season 2. There will be more. Like Ahsoka season 2 is not going to be the end of live action Star Wars shows on Disney Plus. That's just not going to happen. But whatever comes next, whatever's going to be the next live action show on Disney Plus is going to be because of the success of Andor season 2. And I think Tony Gilroy has this almost completely backwards. The same way that because of the Mandalorian success, he got to make Andor. Because of Andor's success, people are going to make some crazy Star Wars content on Disney Plus. Stuff that we've never really seen before in the Star Wars universe. Maybe some of it will be a success, maybe some of it won't be a success. But either way, Andor season 1 and 2, especially if season 2 sticks the landing here and is a really, really solid last 3 weeks, then it's going to allow fans and Star Wars itself to make these sort of games and shows and animation and all this risks, take risks, if you will, to hopefully create the next Andor. Now, that's very difficult to do, and I don't even know what it would be, but there are risks to be taken. I think the issue that some fans have with the sequel trilogy is the lack of taking risks. The reason that The Mandalorian is such a success and the reason that Andor is such a success is because they took risks. The same way with Star Wars in general. Star Wars doesn't work without taking risks. If George Lucas didn't take a million different risks to make the original Star Wars, and then in turn, 19 years later, or 22 years later, I guess, make an insanely different kind of story with the prequel trilogy, taking a huge risk and making it so much more political and having so much more Jedi and having it really feel so different from the original trilogy, taking that huge risk of making Jar Jar this full CGI character. If it wasn't for risks, Star Wars wouldn't exist. In the sequel trilogy, almost does the opposite. It doesn't take risks. It tells a very similar story, at least with The Force Awakens. And then it kind of plays it safe throughout the entire trilogy. Then they realize we got to take some more risks. And the Mandalorian the Mandalorian drops with the introduction of Grogu, a new Yoda species, and that's a enormous risk because that could go horribly. It goes fantastic, and now we get say that again. It goes fantastic, and then we get more risks. We get Andor, we get Ahsoka, we get Kenobi, we get all these different things. We get a Clone Wars season 7. We get the Bad Batch, and now we get a Maul series. Now we get Andor season 2 and Ahsoka season 2. And it's just taking more and more risks. Sometimes it doesn't work. I like the Acolyte quite a bit. Huge risk. Going before the prequel trilogy, massive risk. Introducing Plagueis into live action, enormous risk. Didn't really work because it got absolutely shit on online. I specifically liked it. I know many of you like it, but it was a risk nonetheless, and it didn't really pan out, so season 2 was canceled. Even still, I would rather them take more and more risks like the Acolyte, because first of all, I personally liked it, but also, if you're taking risks, you're bound to have a lot more success than if you're just playing it safe and just relying on nostalgia, relying on stories that already exist, relying on the stuff that already exists. So risks, chat. Just like gambling in the chat. Just like you're gambling your credits away. Risking it all. That's the name of the game in terms of Star Wars, and I think Tony Gilroy is mistaken here. It's not that anything like Andor will never happen. It's more so, like, because Andor's a success, they will back more of these plays. Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger, the audience, The Mandalorian, success. This will lead to more people backing the play of future risks. So that's my take on that. I think Tony Gilroy is mistaken. Oh, another thing that I saved that I wanted to show you guys. We talked about how in season 2, we're going to see some more familiar places and faces. K2SO, Krennic, Admiral Raddus, but places. Yavin 4, Coruscant, getting a lot more Coruscant in season 2, but Yavin 4 specifically. Will we get to see more familiar places? Well, we're definitely getting a lot more new places. Season 1 gave us Ferrix. Season 1 gave us Morlana. It gave us Narkina 5, Aldani. Gave us all these new planets. Season 2 has continued this arc. Now, granted, Cinderella was a planet we already knew about, but we never seen it before. So we got, and so was Sinar? I forget how they pronounce it, but this was also mentioned in Rebels, but not seen. So these two planets have been mentioned before, but not seen. Mina Rao, new planet. This place might be a new planet. Some people think it's the place from the Bad Batch season 2. I don't think it is, but somebody help me up on that. I don't know. But we got 4 new locations already in Star Wars. Not new in their existence, like Singela. We already knew it existed, but new in terms of seeing it with our own 2 eyes. So a bunch of new locations already in just the first 3 episodes. I think that's going to continue to happen, continue to see new places in this second season, but that's just a pretty cool thing that I saw online. Yeah. Pretty dang cool. Okay. Where were we, chat? Yeah. The greatest show isn't always about viewership. True. I mean, Andor Season 1 is an incredible show. It's top 3 for me for live action Star Wars shows. It's behind The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, slightly behind The Mandalorian. Pretty big gap between that and Ahsoka, but it is a top tier Star Wars project. There's no way fans or buts about that, in my personal opinion. Now, you could be like sitting there going, Mike, Andor sucks. And maybe it does to you, but it's my personal opinion, okay? But Andor is top tier. And the viewership for season 1 in particular is quite low. Now, season 2, we don't really know yet. We don't know what the viewer numbers look like. But season 1 is very low. That doesn't mean it's a bad show. Obviously, I'm sure there's an incredible show out there somewhere that nobody's watching. But we'll see. Jedha will return. Oh, Jedha 2, yes. Jedha will be in season 2 too. 2? Yeah. Yes, you're right. Somehow Jedha returns. Well, Jedha does get blown up by the Death Star. That is true. But we see Saw Gerrera on Jedha in the trailers for the show. Yeah. They have to go back to get B2, so the young man can also get his girlfriend? Oh, so that Wilmon can get his girlfriend? I don't know. I really don't. Tell me in the chat, do you guys think that they're going to go back to Mina Rao to get B2? I don't think they will. As long as they know that the Empire is there, I don't think they will. I mean, the Empire's not always there unless they set up a place there. I don't know. What do we think? Are they going back? Let's actually pull this one up because I forgot to end the poll about Palpatine. I mean, about Mace Windu. Wow, 60% of you say Mace Windu did survive. Okay. Okay, chat. Okay. Okay. Well, let's see. Do you think, whoops, B2, B2, oh my God, can't type, chat. B2 will be in the rest of Andor Season 2. Actually, that's phrased incorrectly. Hang on. Will return in Andor Season 2. Like the remainder of the season. You guys get what I mean. He was in the first 3 episodes, but he was left on Mina Rao. Will he come back? For some reason, I don't think he will. Like, I feel like they left him with that girl, what was her name? Talia? Something like that? Brazos' wife or girlfriend? I feel like they left him there to sort of be safe from this war. In the trailers, we see Bix and Cassian going off, doing their thing, taking down the Empire. B2's not there. I feel like they'll leave him on Mina Rao because he's safe there. You know? Did you notice the ATST walker? I did on the table. Yeah, I did. Yeah. B2 turns into Blink 182. Oh my God. No. B2 is K2. I bet money on it. Okay. Okay. Actually, I'll set this up for the next stream, but gambling, the gambling that we've set up on the channel, there's actually a way for us to make it that we can bet on things. So you can bet credits to win more credits. Like, I give you the odds of Palpatine or Vader showing up in Andor Season 2. And maybe it's like a 100 to 1 or something crazy like that. And then if you think they will be in it, you would bet on that. And if they are in the season, then you would get 100 to 1 odds on the credits that you put in. I'm explaining betting to many of you that probably know how it works. But the same can be said about, like, we could do a bet of will B2 turn into K2? Like, will his memory be transferred into K2? And we could put a bet on that. If it does happen, you win the credits. If it doesn't, you lose the credits. You get the gist. But that's something that we actually can implement, which will be pretty cool. So I'll figure that out for next stream. Yeah. Darth B2? I don't think so. He's the one choking Dedra? Okay. Okay. I respect your horrible opinion. Yeah. Yeah. I just don't think that we are going to actually see maybe we'll see him again, like Cassian goes in to check up on him, but he's not involved in any of the other trailers. He's not going to be involved in, like, the Gorman Massacre or any of that. He's not in Rogue One. It's possible that he just stays on Mina Rao for the rest of his life. I don't know. I agree. B2's arc has ended with Mina Rao. I think so too, Chris. It kind of seems like a dull end, you know? I think there will be a spinoff with Bix and B2. That depends on if Bix survives the season. There's a lot of characters that aren't in Rogue One that technically could survive. It would just need a lot of explaining. I don't think Bix is one of them, though. I think Bix is definitely a goner because of Cassian's line in Rogue One where he talks about losing everything. He lost his mom. He doesn't say this, but he's already lost his mom. He just lost his best friend, probably going to lose his girlfriend, probably going to lose his mentor, Luthen, the guy who brought him into the rebellion in the first place. We're going to have to start thinking about when Luthen dies, because it could technically be this week. It could be this 4, 5, 6 episode on Tuesday. I mean, it would sound crazy, but it's a possibility. I will cry my eyes out if Bix dies. Well, I think Bix is going to get her redemption arc. If she dies, it won't be till the later half of the season. She'll get to torture Dr. Gorst like we see in the trailer. She'll probably get her revenge on Dedra, because if anybody deserves it, it's her. And then maybe she'll die. Heroic sacrifice. Yeah. Maybe she'll, like, blow herself up while blowing up Dedra and some other Imperials or something. They're all going to die. Not all of them. Cassian lives for at least the extent of Rogue One, where he dies. Yeah. But some characters survive. Mon Mothma, she survives till at least Return of the Jedi. Saw Gerrera survives until Rogue One, where he dies. Yeah. An interesting character that I think could appear, even in this week's episodes could appear, is Galen Erso. Mads Mikkelsen was at Star Wars Celebration this year. The fact that Cassian knows who Galen Erso is in the first scene of Rogue One. Obviously, the Death Star is in Season 2, and he's the architect, Ted Mosby, architect of the Death Star. So Galen Erso's a character that could show up in this second season, much like Bail Organa, or not Bail and Skull, which was about to say. My brain is broken, chat. The brain is broken. Wow. 50. Oh, wow. It's almost 50-50. 53% of you say yes, you think that B2 will be in this in the rest of the season. I have a theory. Cassian dies in this week's episode. No. I don't know why. I just don't think he will. Maybe Luthen's death is what causes Saw to leave the rebellion. It could be. Because Saw, his only connection right now to the rebellion is Luthen. We see in Season 1, or we see Saw in Season 1, he has to be convinced to even help the rebellion by Luthen. So if that connection is gone, if Luthen is dead, then Saw is not really going to work well with others without Luthen there, as we see in Season 1. So, I don't know. Only time will tell. Yeah. I hope we see Krennic taking Galen, talking about the Death Star. Yeah, I think if we see Galen Erso, it won't be with our heroes, it'll be with Krennic. And to me, I still think that scene, if I can find it again, where Mon Mothma and Luthen are dressed up for some sort of event, standing across from Krennic, that could happen this week. I don't know what the event would be, but it could happen this week. Where are these images? I've already lost the images again, chat. Somebody needs to file these better. Oh, here we go. You know what? I'm just going to save these images so it's easier for me to find. Save. Save. Boom. So this scene right here of Luthen and Mon across from, and Perrin, across from Krennic and the Imperials seems to be, to me, could be in this week's episode. But what they're doing, where they are, I have no idea. Haven't a clue. And that's cool and also annoying at the same time. Because why Luthen's there, I don't know. And why Krennic is dressed like this, I don't know either. Could it be on Gorman? I don't know. Maybe. But in this week's episode, I think we're going to see sort of the setup for the Gorman Massacre. And the Gorman Massacre won't happen until the following week. So this week is not going to be the Gorman Massacre. No, it is not. Yeah. Yo, Quinlan Voss, what do you think? What do I think about Quinlan Voss, like as a character? He's great. I'm actually rereading now Dark Disciple to get hyped up for Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Underworld, sorry. Because let's not forget, a week from tomorrow, right? Yeah, in 8 days, Holy crap. In 8 days, we have Tales of the Underworld on May the 4th. So Tales of the Underworld is in 8 days. Huh. So Asajj Ventress is back, and the explanation of how she survived the events of Dark Disciple will be explained in Tales of the Underworld. But if you haven't read Dark Disciple, well, you have 8 days. I'm already, I don't know, a third of the way in. But catching up is a big deal, clearly, because I don't remember Star Wars frickin' Rebels, my favorite frickin' show. But I guess just another reason to go watch it again. Yeah. I do not think we will see Galen Erso at all. Okay, interesting. I don't think we'll see Jyn Erso because she's not really involved in the rebellion until the events of Rogue One. Yeah. Mon Mothma looks so young. The dancing made her look younger. I don't know. She looks about the same to me. She looks the same to me. Mike, can we gamble because it's a special time because you just hit 150K subscribers? You really just want to gamble, don't you? Is that all you want? Have you considered that Kanan could show up in this series? I mean, any of the Rebels crew could technically show up in this series, but I do not think they will. No. I don't think they will because it's sort of just a cameo for cameo's sake when we know what happens with those characters. And it will happen in between the arcs, you know? Maybe they'll report a death after the wedding to the host and close friends of the deceased. Oh, you mean that they're going to get sort of interrogated by the Empire because Take-Homa dies? Huh. That would be wild, but this is a year later. There's a year time gap in between. So that would have already panned out by then, you know? Yeah. I'd like to see how they figure out where she is and set up the rescue mission. Well, yeah, they'll set up the rescue mission that we see from Rebels, but I don't think we'll see the Rebels crew. It'll just be like right before they meet the Rebels crew, you know? Could they all be at Take-Homa's funeral? No, again, that wouldn't happen a year later. Funeral usually happens like right away. I want to see the Gorman spiders. No, spiders are gross. I think we'll visit Gorman several times over 5 episodes to ramp up the spy game over time. Yeah, so Tony Gilroy has confirmed that the Gorman massacre will be something that plays out over the course of 5 episodes. Or Gorman, sorry, will be in 5 episodes. So the massacre itself will only happen in 1 episode, or maybe 2, but 5 episodes will feature Gorman. So this week will feature Gorman for at least 2 of the episodes. And then the next 3 episodes will be about the massacre. So this week we'll probably see the setup. We'll see Dedra and them start to sort of build the Empire's presence on Gorman. And then the year later is when the massacre will happen. Or at least that's how I see it. Master Beckham in the house. What's up? How we doing? Okay. But yeah, there's going to be a whole big setup for Gorman because you got like Vel and Cinta here. You got Dedra on there too. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let me end this poll. Let's end this poll. Was Take-Homa a separatist in the past? I don't know. I mean, we don't really know much about the past of many of these characters. Getting to learn Luthen's backstory is going to be pretty damn interesting, as it's been confirmed that we will learn about it eventually. Wow, 57% of you guys think that we will be seeing more B2, while 42% say no. Interesting. The whole Gorman arc is going to be awesome? Oh, yeah, it is. Luthen says that Ezra Bridger's speech gave the rebellion its strength and purpose. Thrawn was mentioned in Mandalore. Oh, on Mandalore. Thrawn returns in Ahsoka. Thrawn may appear in Andor. I don't think so. I'd be pretty shocked if Thrawn was in Andor Season 2. He does disappear with Ezra, and I don't think any of the Rebels crew are going to be involved in the show either. So I think the two are are going to stay separate for the most part, you know? Yeah. Krennic wouldn't be dressed in a ceremonial uniform. Yes, there has to be something going on. Some sort of ceremony. Yeah. Lita, her child, had a child a year later, so they have another celebration. Why would they invite Krennic to that? You know? When Krennic is having a private summit in episode 1 discussing Gorman, could that be considered one episode where Gorman is mentioned? No, it's he's not that specific about it, but from what I gather, I think he means that Gorman will be in 5 episodes. Like actually on Gorman. Not just a video of it, you know? Thrawn's too busy chasing the rebels? Yeah, I think he's too busy. 50 Thunder, what's up? Sorry I'm late, just got home from work. Well, you missed the celebration. We had 150,000 subscribers live and you missed it. You missed it. Just kidding. I appreciate you. How we doing? Yeah. Wait, Edie is Snoke? What? Edie is Snoke? Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Long time. That might be the craziest theory I've heard all day. What if the party is just a shower for Lita's baby? Again, why would Krennic be invited to that? And why would Luthen be invited to that? The baby would be born and be like, who are all these people? Yeah. It's just weird because it's an event where not only is Luthen in attendance, but Krennic is wearing this weird special uniform. So what would that be? Why would Luthen be there? He's just a shop owner, you know? Yeah. Are you ever going to upload Star Wars game videos or do live streams of Star Wars games? I was thinking about that pretty recently, actually. Because if you guys don't know, we do have a gaming channel. It's not used quite often, but there is a gaming channel. And I'm thinking about doing some Fortnite gaming when the new season starts because it's a Star Wars season. So I don't really want to clutter the main channel, this channel, with that sort of stuff. I think it will sort of turn some people away who don't like video games. So I think we'll do it on the gaming channel. But the cool thing about that is we can play together. Because unlike all the Star Wars games that have come out recently, they've all been single player. This one is a multiplayer one. So we can all play together. What's the gaming channel called? It's called The Eggs. Funny. I have it with a bunch of my buddies. The Eggs actually stands for something, and I said I'm not going to reveal what The Eggs stands for until we hit a million subscribers on the channel. We're currently at like 30, so we're nowhere close. But here, I'll paste the link in the chat. Yeah, we're at 33 subscribers, so we're nowhere close. But let's do this. Copy. 1 million, yeah. Yeah, you'll never know. You'll never know what the egg stands for until 1 million subscribers, which will probably never happen. But yeah, that's the channel. I just posted the link. Okay. Luthen may be an Order 66 survivor. His speech to Lonnie hints at it. It does? I think that would be a poetic if he started out as a Jedi and then starts the rebellion and ultimately defeats the Sith. That ultimately defeats the Sith. I mean, it would be poetic, but I feel like because he's on Coruscant, if he was a surviving Jedi, he'd be hunted down by now. Like, he'd have to keep an even better disguise and all that stuff. Why not live stream on this channel? Honest question. That's actually a great question. I mean, already we live stream 3 times a week. So it's almost like this channel is, it's a hard thing to explain, but so I post a short a day, or I try to every day, on this channel. We post videos, long form videos, long live streams 3 times a week, and then long form videos added on to that. So live streams for Fortnite or for Star Wars-based games or even non-Star Wars-based games, because we do play other games on that channel, would just cloud and clutter the algorithm, and it wouldn't really work because a lot of people don't play video games or watch video games that want to talk about Star Wars. So a guy who loves Star Wars is different from the gaming channel, if that makes sense. Mike, do you think Kellen ratted out Brazo? Everyone seems to think it was fake. Yeah, so I don't really know. We talked about this on Thursday's live stream, but to me, when I originally watched this episode for the first time, I thought that Kellen didn't rat them out. I thought that he was being sort of honest in not knowing it. And then when I watched it the second time, when I was making my breakdown video, I realized that how else would they know where Bix and Brazo live? And when the Empire arrives, Kellen is expecting their arrival, and Kellen's wife is expecting their arrival, and they immediately send 2 officers off to go find Bix and Brazos at their house. And at the beginning of the episode, Kellen and Brazo have a conversation where Kellen's like, hey, reach out to Cassian and his boss and ask if they can come and help. And Brazo is pretty much like, can't do that. There's other people who need help across the galaxy. This isn't the only place. And right then and there, Kellen and Brazo sort of share a look where Kellen's like, okay, help's not on the way. So I got to do this on my own. I got to do this by myself. I got to protect my own family. And that sort of leads to him ratting them out to protect his own family. And I think Brazo's at the end, when they share that look and he gives him sort of the head nod, is Brazo's almost respecting that decision that he made to protect his own family. It's almost like the same thing Brazo would have done almost in a situation, something like that. So I don't know. You guys tell me in the chat. Do you think Kellen ratted them out or not? We put up a poll last stream and it was about 55 to 45. It was very close. So I really don't know. I don't know. To me, it seems like he did rat them out. How else would they know where Bix lived and go straight there? Why else would they be expecting the Empire early? Because they weren't supposed to come till the next day? There's just a lot going on there. I thought he ratted them out for sure. But we'll see. Mike, you discovered a leak in Andor Season 2. Maybe go back to the cockpit view of the photos. It's the same cockpit from Rogue One. What? What you talking about? This image right here? Of Cassian in... This isn't the same ship, is it? Because if you look at this... Oh, it is the same ship. No, it's not. Different ship. Wait, what? Same ship? Looks like the same seats from behind them, but this middle thing, this middle panel looks different. But the circular door behind, oh, maybe the camera angle is just lower? Is this the same ship, chat? Oh, the panel behind him there is almost the same. It seems like there's maybe subtle differences, but I don't know. The chairs are the exact same. Is this the same chip? 100%, Mike. I agree. He was helping them the whole time, but once the Empire showed up, he got scared and did what he had to do to protect his family. I agree. Yeah. So this is the same ship. That's what you're telling me? It's different? Where's Waldo? I don't know. Where's Waldo? Haven't heard from that guy in a while. Same U-wing. Okay. Oh, wait. Some people say different ship. Is this the frickin'... What's the ship from Skeleton Crew again? Well, I'm already forgetting what the ship from Skeleton Crew's name is. What is the ship from Skeleton Crew's name, chat? Holy crap. What the hell's the name of the ship from Skeleton Crew, chat? The Onyx Cinder. Holy crap. I swear my brain is broken. The Onyx Cinder. Thank you. Remember when we had that image from the Onyx Cinder and you guys were like, Mike, that's not the same ship. I was like, guys, it's literally the same freaking ship. And then it turns out that it was the same ship. It was just before and after it shed its sort of hull or whatever. So it was the same ship, but it was just a little bit different because it shed its hull. This is the same conversation we're having all over again. Is this the same ship? Yes or no, chat? Yes or no? Oh my God, we're already at 2 hours and 5 minutes. What is happening with these live streams? It looks very similar. I'll just say that. The circular door behind them and both the chairs are the exact same. I don't know. It's a little weird. Could be the same ship. Might not be the same ship. Or maybe it's the same model but different ship. I don't know. Only time will tell. But let's take a second and look at this. Cassian Andor, Diego Luna himself, looks like he's actually younger. I don't know if they're doing any digital de-aging on his face for season 2 to make him look younger, but he looks younger here. He looks younger 10 years after the events, 10 years later in the real world from where he does in Rogue One. That's impressive. That's impressive. Okay. But we do have to get on out of here. I did not realize, I mean, the time flies, Chad. We did hit 150,000 subscribers this live stream live, which is absolutely insane. Something is coming on Monday's live stream, so watch out for that. It rhymes with church door and has some pretty epic stuff like this and like this involved with it. So huge shout out to you guys for hitting that subscribe and doing all that other stuff. It's absolutely insane. Adam, you gotta simmer down. You need a break from all that stuff. You need a break from the gambling, it seems. But I appreciate all you guys so much more than you will ever know. The hype for Andor is real. And yes, our live stream this week again is on Monday, not Tuesday, Monday, because that is our prediction live stream for Andor Season 2. And I can't wait to do that with you guys. So stay tuned for that. There will be no short today, sadly. Didn't have time. But there will be a short tomorrow and maybe even a video tomorrow. So watch out for that. And yeah. So with that being said, smash a freaking like on this stream if you have not already. How many likes do we have, chat? Am I going to be upset? That's not too bad. Smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not already. Hit that subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video in my pretty face. We'll show up with a recommended feed of yours. Yeah. 50 Thunder with a very generous $2 haul says, congratulations. I appreciate that, 50 Thunder. I really, really do. Super Chats, memberships, keep the lights on over here. I was thinking about doing something with Super Chats to sort of make them more rewarding in a way. But that's something for another time, I guess. But I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. Can't wait for these 3 episodes of Andor this week. And yeah, go see Revenge of the Sith. Let's get those numbers up so that we send a message showing that movie is goated. But go see Revenge of the Sith. I might go see it again, actually. Might as well, right? I mean, when else are you going to go see Revenge of the Sith in the theaters, huh? Yeah, never. So let's do it. But until next time, smash a freaking like on the stream, and may the Force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. It is great to see, you know, all these live streams, you know, it's just, the hype is real. It is truly the greatest time to be a Star Wars fan. But until Monday, when we got the merch store up, Martha J coming in with a late $10 holla, very generous $10 holla, with no message. Well, I appreciate it, Martha. I really, really do. I'll give you the because it didn't have it. But I appreciate it. I really, really do. Until next time, I hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.